Hello, and welcome to the Radical Fabulatorium. Okay, on today's episode, I am speaking with Beached Out. Beached Out is a husband and wife duo based in Peterborough, Ontario. They've actually recently become a three-piece, but I'll save that tidbit for the interview. They're hitting the road in support of their brand new record called Average Weekends. With a couple dates on the East Coast here, they're going to be hitting St. John, New Brunswick, at the Haven Music Hall April 22nd with Constant Greetings and Sunnyside Uppers. Then they're in Dartmouth on April 23rd, Truro, Nova Scotia on April 24th, Moncton, New Brunswick on April 25th, and if you're out in Peterborough, on June 12th, they're going to be playing with By Divine Right. You can check out the band at beachedout.com. You'll find their music, their merch, their videos, their tour dates, all that fun stuff there, and I highly recommend you snag the new record on their Bandcamp. It's a fantastic record, sounds great, feels great. So yeah, here we go. My chat with Jeff and Ann from Beached Out. Okay, thanks a lot for coming on the show today. I really appreciate you guys giving me some of your time.
Thanks for having us.
We're excited to be here.
I'm excited that you reached out and sent me the record. And I don't know, should I call you both doctors, or can I use your first thing? Mr. and Mrs. Dr. Parker.
That's not part of our professional persona, I guess. So.
Okay, so I'll call you Jeff and Ann. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah. Thank you.
So Jeff and Ann make a Beached Out. You're going to be here in St. John, New Brunswick, specifically April 22nd at the Haven Music Hall.
That's correct. Yeah.
Promoting the new album Average Weekends. Yeah,
that's correct. With Constant Greetings and Sunnyside Uppers.
Yeah, that's a fantastic lineup. Shout out to Constant Greetings. We have a little bit of a similar connection there because I went to high school with Steve, so I might as well just I'll mention that right now just to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the record. I know you make up a two-piece band, so I know there's quite a story here. I was gonna make some like lame joke about like going back to capture the history of your journey through music, because I know, Jeff, you're in a band called The History Of from Halifax.
That's correct. Yeah, a long time ago. That is history.
Do you guys want to start about that? Like, do you want to go back to the beginning and talk about how the project came to be?
I guess we can. I guess it gives a little bit of background. So we started this project back in 2011, 2012, when we moved up to Northwestern Ontario to a small town called Kenora. Mm-hmm. But previous to that, we'd been living in Halifax for 4 years. Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is where I'm from originally. Like, I grew up in Halifax and then moved around all sorts of other places. But I had a band in Halifax called The History Of from about 2006 to 2011, and we were pretty active. We were like a post-punk mathy rock band, and did a couple little tours and put out an album and an EP, and had a lot of fun doing that, and a lot of success doing that. And then kind of broke up the band when Ann and I moved to Northwestern Ontario.
And then Jeff kind of wanted to keep playing music and didn't really have anyone to play music with, and asked if I wanted to learn how to play the drums.
Or I think
sure.
I think you might have offered.
I don't know.
I think you were kind of excited to do it.
Yeah, I had never played drums before. My dad was a drummer when he was younger, actually, but I kind of grew up playing piano and played a bit of saxophone in high school and had an interest in drums, but never really had the opportunity. So bought a drum kit, and then we started playing music together.
So we were in Kenora. We drove 2 hours to Winnipeg, bought a drum kit, brought it back to the apartment in Kenora, and then we started the band.
Okay. Drum kit in the apartment. That's a classic situation.
Yeah. Well, eventually we moved to Thunder Bay, and we had a basement, so where we actually got things going and started recording our first demos and stuff. So
okay. Yeah. Did you gig around Kenora at all, or?
No, but in Thunder Bay. So I guess we probably played our first show in 2012 or something like that. And we played in Thunder Bay.
Our first show was at Pop Montreal.
Yeah. So we recorded some demos at home. or like put them out, not as demos. And just like, we're going to start applying to festivals, applied to Pop Montreal, applied to Halifax Pop Explosion, got into both, and then had to write a bunch more songs. And Anne actually played her first show ever, opening for Yukon Blonde in Montreal. And
It did not go well.
I think it went great. And that was sort of Anne's introduction to live music.
Okay.
Yeah.
And everything went from there. So
Okay.
yeah.
But Anne, you used to mention you grew up playing piano, and you said, was it saxophone? So you kind of had music.
Yeah, I played a bit of saxophone and flute. And
okay.
school band, yeah.
I wouldn't mind hearing flute over top of some of this Beached Out. To be honest.
Maybe someday.
Yeah. Next album.
Yeah, you could feature the flute. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just want to, like, the reason. So usually my interviews start pretty smooth, but just like minutes before we logged on here, I found out that you have a connection to the band The Plan in Halifax.
So I guess indirectly,
yeah. So that just kind of threw me. I was just listening to Lit Like a Monument, and anyway, just kind of like threw me down this crazy path of like the last few minutes. I've been remembering the Pavilion and like the letter unfolds and like Sight for Someone Else. And anyway, this whole Halifax thing came back to me. So I was looking at the clock. I'm like, shit, I got to log on and talk. So I just wanted to shamelessly bring that up just because it's such like, I don't know a lot of folks around here who are connected to The Plan or kind of grew up in that scene. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
That is where I come from. Not that I don't come from The Plan, but Lance Purcell is was the drummer in A History Of, and he was the drummer in The Plan as well.
Wow.
And
that's cool.
And that's the scene that I grew up in, or that's where I kind of fell in love with music and punk. And so yeah.
Okay.
That's where A History Of, like my old band A History Of, was like really kind of an offshoot of that scene.
Part of that scene, yeah. Okay. Cool. Thanks. I might edit that out. I just wanted to get that out of my brain, just to get it out of my brain. Okay, so then you moved to Kenora. I imagine you went to Kenora to pursue your medical, working at the hospital there on the water?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And and you're the first person who's brought this up to us on. We haven't really talked about that aspect of our life with regards to music, but I think because that must have come up through Steve or some sort of.
Well, I like to do a little bit. I did a little bit of research, but also Steve. Steve did tell me you might have some dirt on him, so that he did mention that.
Well, maybe. Yeah.
He didn't. He said he didn't have any dirt on you folks. But, to be honest, I was going to segue into thinking about like how being doctors or interacting in the healthcare system, or people relying on both of you to do such serious work affects your art or your creative process. That's kind of where I was hoping to slowly but surely take that.
Oh, sure.
If it's even part of it.
Yeah.
I don't know that it is, to be quite honest.
I would say that music is an escape from that.
Yeah.
Right. And I wouldn't say, like, of course, it's part of our life. So of course it has an influence on everything that we do. But I think that music is definitely an escape for us, and a way to balance out our work and our family stuff too, because we have two kids as well, and music is just another aspect of our life.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of comes down to, or sort of relates to the title of the record, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like
we don't have many average weekends, and we're sort of striving for that.
Yeah.
At some point.
The grass is always greener, I guess, is sort of the cliche sort of phrase, but you always want, I guess, the title Average Weekends is sort of what we've said, is sort of, we're striving to have an average weekend, to have a weekend where we're kind of relaxing, don't have to worry about these other things in our lives, but it never happens, or rarely happens. But then again, I think if we had an average weekend, we might be bored. So it's a balance. It's a balance of both. So yeah, the grass is greener situation, because then sit around doing nothing is not necessarily a good feeling either, really. No, and we have a hard time sitting around doing nothing too. So
okay. Yeah. And so the latest album, was recorded in Peterborough at the Reverie, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
So let's walk through the ice. And you did a live video there. I was checking out earlier too. It looks like a nice space. Do you want to talk about that experience? How that came to be?
Sure.
Yeah. How did we meet at? We recorded with Adam Haggerty.
Yeah, we recorded with Adam Haggerty, who's
wonderful, lovely human.
Yeah. But how it came to be is that we recorded 4 demos at home, and which is the way that we've always done all of our recordings. We just record them at home. And I sent them to Adam. I was looking for someone to mix them. And I have used other people in the past, but I wanted to use someone local so I could go in and maybe sit down and have someone sort of have some input on the mixing process. And he listened to them and he's like, "These are great, but you should come record them again." Which they are way better now. To be fair, we did use a little bit of some of the demo tracks in the final recordings, but I think that was also probably part of his hook as well to get us to come in. And it ended up being that we went from having 4 demos to having 11 songs. Actually 12. We recorded 12, but put 11 out on this album.
Okay. And we wrote a lot of the songs kind of during the recording process. We did this over months, right? Like we didn't have like a chunk of time to just sit in the studio. So this was recorded like
over a year,
like every Wednesday, which is the day we take off every few months. And then we'd kind of write some songs in between and go and record. And I'd never recorded before and had never been in that space, but it was great.
You recorded at home?
Well, at home. I've never been in a studio setting. So it was great.
Was it intimidating at first?
It was initially, but Adam is like a great guy and kind of like a cheerleader and very positive. So he made it very easy, to be honest.
He was super supportive. And we always felt relaxed. Yeah. And it was great. We recorded it over about 12 months or so. And really, it just kind of snowballed. Initially, we were going to do an EP, and I think we had started recording really in like November, and then we'll listen to the mixes of like 4 songs in January, and then we just like, well, let's keep going, and recorded into the summer. Yeah.
So it was feeling pretty good. Did Adam offer feedback in terms of songwriting? Like, did he play the producer role as well, or was he kind of just there as the engineer?
I think like maybe a little bit here and there. His role wasn't a producer, but he did definitely guide us. Like I remember once recording. So I recorded the guitars and bass, and Anne recorded and played the drums, and we both did vocals. I'm not a bassist, although I have played bass in bands before, but it's not something that I don't have the mindset to really like, how can I make this song better to playing bass? And he's like, I remember recording one song and he's like, no. he's like, try something different. And then, so things like that. But overall, he didn't play the producer role.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you record live off the floor initially? Like, did you put down bed tracks, or was it kind of multi-tracked?
It depended on the song. I think initially we did, which is the way we've always done it. We would record the drums and the guitar, and then I'd go back and re-record the guitar over top, or layer the guitars over top and use the drums. And I think for some of the later songs, I recorded the guitar and Anne played along with that. Sort of like, I don't know, we worked it a few different ways.
Okay.
On the song. Yeah.
That's cool, because like when I listen to the record, you wouldn't get that, like it's cohesive, so you wouldn't get that sense that things were done with different approaches at different times. Like it feels like it flows as a nice solid package.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It kind of gives you, it's a good vibe too. Like it feels and sounds DIY, but at the same time, it feels and sounds professional. And maybe that speaks to Adam's approach to the recording. But was that the intent? Was that kind of the goal of for the record?
I think we do. We always love sounding DIY.
Scrappy.
Like we feel scrappy, and I do feel like some of the songs don't sound completely scrappy because Adam is so good at mixing drums.
Yeah.
And the bass, like he was just like really able to fine tune the sounds. But in our hearts, I think that we're DIY people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we like that sound. Like that, some of our favorite songs or favorite albums are totally like scrappy. You sort of like Guided by Voices and all these things where it's like clearly just recorded on like some like who knows what. Somebody, right? Yeah.
A little 4-track, kind of like the well, I guess you'd be familiar with you're probably familiar with the sub pop scene that kind of happened out east, like with Eric's Trip and Jail.
Yeah.
And all that. And,
yeah, which is another, like, that's totally a reference as well. And like Eric's Trips are heroes to us.
I think Rick White, isn't he up in Northern Ontario? He might be up there somewhere.
He is, but I think he's a bit of a recluse.
That's what I heard. He's pumping out albums all the time, though, on his Bandcamp.
Yeah.
It's wild. Yeah. Okay, so, and then I should mention, too, the songwriting it's split 50-50. You both come in with full songs or ideas that you bounce off each other?
Well, we write the songs together. We write all the music first, and then we kind of sit down and try and figure out the lyrics, and we revise many, many times.
The lyrics specifically, you revise them?
Yeah. And I think that, so we're partners in life and in music, and everything's a collaboration.
Okay.
So like everything gets written together. Like it might be that I come with
There's a couple songs that I think are led by you that you kind of wrote. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that, like the acoustic song at the end of the album, which is the first acoustic song that we recorded or put out, is like, it's obviously from my point of view. But Anne has complete veto power. And is not afraid to mix words or not afraid to tell me when something's no good. So
yeah, because when you mention collaborative and 50-50, like when a listener hears that, it sounds kind of like all rosy and sunshine, but that also means the arguments or the disagreements are probably people don't get a sense of maybe the tension that arises in that sort of setup.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say we're not terribly contentious, but I don't know. We make it work. So yeah.
Okay, that's fun. So how do you manage to find time to hit the road if you got a couple children you mentioned and professional working lives? What maybe you can give the listeners a little bit of a peek behind the curtain on how something like that comes together.
Well, we're very lucky to have some family support. Jeff's mom is actually coming to help with the kids while we take a little week-long vacation.
Yeah. My mother's flying up from Halifax on a week from Monday, and she's going to watch the kids for a week while we drive out east. And she was kind of upset because she's never seen us play. So she was pretty upset to be missing our show in Halifax. So
that's kind of the switching places for you'll be in Halifax, you'll be in Peterborough.
But I pulled in a favor, and I don't know.
We're very fortunate. Yeah. And
maybe
when our kids are older, we can take them on tour with us. I don't know.
Yeah. Our youngest is 5, almost 6, but it's be too stressful. Our son could probably do it, but I can't keep an eye on the kids.
They need to be at least old enough to run the merch booth.
Yeah, I think so. And also not run away or whatever.
Yeah. Well, you can pay them on commission too. That's kind of what I was thinking with merch. They can become little entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So you're a 2-piece live. So how do you, Jeff, specifically, like the guitar work, how do you fill out your sound to kind of make everything feel nice and full bandish if it's just 2 of you, or do you even think about it or worry about that at all?
Well, we do think about it, and we've now recruited a bassist and guitarist named Megan.
Okay.
Who
bassist slash guitar.
So depending on the song. Yeah. So we've recruited Megan Kendrick into our band. She's a woman here in Peterborough who's amazing, and she's joined the band. So she's like
just since January we've been playing live shows.
Yeah.
And she played her first show with us in January. So
yeah, and it's made a huge difference. That's the problem with recording, right? We had always played it as a 2-piece, but with this album, like I layered guitars or I had a lead guitar and rhythm guitar line or bass, and we could pull it off, but it sounds so much better with Megan joining the band, and she's a full member of the band now. Like when we go back into the studio, she'll be an equal partner.
So you're officially a trio.
Yeah, we are now. So I think. And it's hard, right? Like a lot of the promo stuff we put out for this album at that time, we were
a 2-piece.
We were a 2-piece.
Yep.
Now we're a 3-piece. So we're a songwriting duo for the album, but Megan has come on board, and she has written new guitar parts actually. Like for one of the songs,
Half Nelson.
Yeah. She kind of wrote a new guitar line for that song, and it just fills out the song so much more.
And she's probably excited to get on the road, I imagine. Does she have experience in other bands? Has she been on the road before?
She's definitely been around the Peterborough scene for the last 10, 15 years, I think. And she's a great musician and singer. Oh, great guitarist, instrumentalist, and singer. She hasn't done a lot of like road touring.
I don't think she's been on tour before.
No, but she's played shows around Toronto and Peterborough, and has played in a lot of bands. We're really lucky to have her.
Yeah, that's exciting. It's nice to have kind of like I don't know what the right word is. Well, she's a full-time member, but kind of like someone who can play multiple instruments or fill out the bigger picture, you know? Yeah,
and she switches. It's a bit of a balancing act because she plays guitar or bass depending on the song, and I play in 3 different tunings depending on the song. So I got a lot of switching. So we have to plan out our set lists to try not to switch too much.
Do you have to switch guitars, or do you end up retuning?
No, I switch guitars. I can't try to avoid retuning live. Yeah, just a bit. No one wants to sit there and watch you tune for
the tuning side. Does that mean you're like in open tunings, or like are the tuning changes like pretty drastic?
I play in a open G tuning on a few songs. I play standard tuning, drop D, and standard with a capo on the 2nd fret.
Okay.
So I guess 4 tunings, but I kind of, when we play live, I usually start with the capo songs and then take the capo off, and then so really only have to tune once.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you like fully into the Fender guitar world? Is that kind of your jam?
I am personally, yeah.
Is that what's on the record? That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like it is Fenders on the record, but you never know.
It's all Jazz Masters or Jaguar.
Okay.
Yeah. We wanted to be a surf band to start out, and I love surf or surf punk. Like, you know, I like instrumental surf music and surf punk. We both do. And that's sort of, I don't know, those are the guitars that I picked up that allow me to do that. Like, I love the tremolo system. It also works that the tremolo system on those guitars is very much like 90s indie rock, like shoegaze music as well, which is another sort of reference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It felt like shoegaze was kind of like coming back around there for a while. I missed it the first time it came through. It like the Stone Roses and all those Swerve Driver and stuff didn't really catch my attention, but it seems like the shoegaze vibe is like coming back around a little bit.
There's a big 90s revival.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it all comes around. When I was a kid, it was like the 60s were big, and, you know, now I guess the 90s are like classic rock. I don't know.
As a total aside, I think, like, thinking about 90s bands, I think Peterborough is where I Mother Earth hangs out. Do you know that band?
I know the band.
I didn't know that they...
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure actually. Yeah.
Their guitar player and their drummer, the brothers. I think they still hide out in Peterborough. I could be wrong, but
Yeah. Peterborough was a big music town, and from all genres, like a big country town, metal town, rock. There's a big, and there's lots of people we don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the album was being mixed, it was mixed by Adam as well, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Were you both involved in the mixing, or was it kind of like he'd send the finished tracks to you and you give him notes? And
Both.
Both, yeah.
Yeah.
Go into the studio some days and listen to everything and make adjustments, and then he'd send us the tracks.
Yeah, we gave him some references, and then he took a crack at it, and then he just had us come in and sit. We just sat there all day and listened to all the tracks and gave some more notes, or he'd fix things in real time and then make some more notes and then kind of adjust things a bit more, send them back to us. And yeah,
I think that was the hardest part of the process, is listening to each song like hundreds of times. I don't even know. And trying to sort of wrap your head around things.
Yeah. And explain that what we want, right? It's, it's hard if Adam works in a lot of genres and, really sort of explaining where we're coming from. It's like, we want to sound like Eric's Trip. And he's like, you're going to have to really, tone some things down if you want to sound like Eric's Trip.
Well, that's what a good producer will do. That took me back to like when my old band did a record and we put on a reference track for the producer we were going to work with. And he was like, what about this is like, why do you want to sound like this? Like, what about this record sounds anything like you guys? And like, you know what? I guess we just like this record. We don't really, we're not going to sound like it.
And that's the thing. We have bands that we love and would love to emulate. But at the end of the day, we just end up sounding like we sound like ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's not easy. We're not great at copying other people, and even great at doing. We've only ever played one cover live, and because we just end up doing our own thing.
Mm-hmm. How do you approach your distortion for the guitar, the overdrive?
What am I using?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a full tone OCD sort of overdrive pedal that I use for probably 3/4 of my tracks. It's always on for those tracks. And I have what's the company? I have a Fuzz War for my fuzz.
Fuzz War.
Which is what's the name of the company? Anyway, it's a kind of a boutique fuzz pedal, but pretty popular. And I use that for sort of the fuzzier songs. Mm-hmm. And I have kind of like a clone copy, like an Archer pedal that I use to like boost my sound. And that's what I do live, and that's what we did in the recording as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in the live video, there's I think, is it a Fender and a little trainer amp? Is that your rig, or is that kind of what you take on the road with you?
It's my rig. So it's actually two Fenders. So it's a Fender Princeton reverb, 60s Fender Princeton reverb reissue. And that's one of them. And the other one is a Fender Blues Junior 3, I think. And I run a radial switch, sort of amp switching pedal that goes into both of them. They're both always on. And the Blues Junior gives me a darker sound, and the Princeton reverb gives me a darker sound, and the Blues Junior gives me a brighter sound. Yeah. And these are very technical questions. my rig rundown.
Yeah, sometimes I bounce around. I hope that's. That's
right. Cool. This is the stuff that. I hope that some of the listeners like listening to this. But this is the stuff that I'm into. But
yeah. Oh yeah, I'm kind of the interviews are all over the place here, so the listeners are well aware of what's coming down the pike. Plus, I love hearing Radio get mentioned. Nice Canadian company, right? Who makes solid equipment. So
yeah.
Your amps, do you keep them at the same blended volume just for the whole show, or are you manipulating which amp is?
Nope, they're both always on. They're both volumes either at 3 or 4, depending on the size of the venue.
Yeah.
And I used to play like in history of with like Ampeg 412, like the big Vox amp. And to be honest, out of these two little combo amps, I can get enough volume for any place we've ever played. And I'm not breaking my back carrying them in. So.
It seems like the bigger the amp you take on tour with you, the more venues you play with staircases.
Yeah.
Like you're
That's
always
true.
lugging that thing up a flight of stairs.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, I wouldn't mind asking about. So you were learning drums for the project, but then also you're singing while you're playing drums. I'm not rhythmic. I'm like rhythmically challenged. That's not my vibe at all. So I wouldn't mind just talking about your approach to that, or if there's any difficulties when you decided to blend the two together.
Yeah, like we started playing as a two-piece, so there wasn't really an option not to sing almost.
Well, I
just
guess
to fill out our
but,
sound, and it was a shared project. And first I had to learn how to play the drums, and that just happened by watching a lot of YouTube videos. And then Jeff and I just would mess around and try and figure out something that sounded cool. And so once we have the instrumentals done, then we'd write lyrics on top of that and sing over or practice singing over a recorded track. And then I have to sit down and kind of break every section down and sort of train my brain and my arms to kind of coordinate, which is kind of tricky, but it will, I'll have to sit with each section piece by piece and kind of go over that and practice over and over again. So it's definitely tricky, but it's not new. I guess I've just been doing that from the start. So, but as we've played longer, like I'm still sort of, I'm not any sort of fantastic drummer, but
I think she's doing a great job.
It has gotten a little bit harder as the drumming has gotten a bit more intricate, but it's sort of the same process each time. Kind of sit down piece by piece and sort of figure it out. But it takes a while.
And since you're writing the music first, do you sometimes accidentally make a section too complicated, and then when you go to sing over it, you're like, oh, whoops.
I guess it's yes and no. There are some parts where it's trickier, but somehow it just works in the end. It is a lot of practice. Yeah.
I definitely make things more complicated on guitar and then have to try and sing over it. So that's it with this album. There's a few songs where I've definitely had to do that, but it's in stages. Like sometimes I will, for certain performances, like if I'm not there yet, I might just like skip the singing in that part, but work on it. And then like the next show, it works out. So it sometimes works in stages. It just takes a lot of practice. Yeah.
Do you ever draw? Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to ask if you ever draw on your experience from piano, because I don't play piano, but I imagine there's some independence there with your left and right hand.
Yeah, more for harmonizing, like we sort of figuring out different keys and things like that. But I haven't played piano for a long time, and we don't even have a piano at home. We have a little keyboard now. I don't still play piano, but I think rhythmically that helped kind of learning the drums.
Very interesting. Yeah, I always imagined that because your hands are going in different directions. Drums, you got four limbs going sometimes in different directions. So that's pretty interesting, really, being able to pull that all off. And I kind of wonder too, like if you were learning the drums for the band, in some way, does that like remove pressure, or does that kind of like new approach or innocent approach, like is that kind of like relieving in terms of art creation?
It's a good question. I don't know. I guess I just don't know any different. Like I never really, there's no pressure. Like in piano, there was sort of all these tests and stages and exams that I had to go through, which was kind of boring and was a little bit of pressure. I think the pressure to perform is sort of the pressure for playing drums and being able to play on stage and hold it together.
Yeah.
But it was a fun approach, I guess. Like, I never really learned by emulating other songs or learning songs. I just learned by playing with Jeff, like just figuring out a song together.
Yeah. And I think our approach has always been, and sort of like my philosophy is that some of the best music is made by people who don't know how to play their instruments. So, and some of the most interesting music that I love, anyway, from growing up and from the 90s, and is people make music with the tools that they have. You always strive to get better, but just make the best music you can with the tools you have, and if it's good, it's good.
Yeah, very punk rock ethos.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no, like, yeah. So there's always intrinsic pressure to get better. Like, I want to do this, or I'd like to, try and figure out this thing I'm trying to figure out on guitar, or even harmonies. But we do what we can.
What I find interesting talking to both of you is that you have this DIY, this love for DIY and kind of lo-fi, like punk rock ethos. But, and I hope you don't mind me bringing up the doctor angle again, but you don't become doctors without ambition. So how do those two worlds like sit in balance?
Yeah, sir. Yeah, we're like, I guess we're goal oriented, like in a way, like and
we're hardworking. We want things to sound good, even though they're DIY, and we're sort of kind of learning, less so you, but me, like learning as I go. Okay. We're still kind of perfectionists. Like, we want things to sound good, and are not content until they're sort of where we want them to be. So we will keep working harder until we get there.
Yeah, we're not afraid to work hard, and it's just, we're not afraid to work hard, and we set goals for ourselves, right? Like, so, a year and a half ago when we started recording this album, it was like, well, initially it was when we started going to the studio with Adam, it's like, well, we're going to actually do this properly, and we're going to put something out. Initially it was going to be an EP, but then we're like, we went all the way we had enough songs for an LP, and I don't know, we're like, we're going to finish this, and we're going to put this out, and we're going to find a label to put this on, and we're going to promote this, and we're going to go on tour. And we made it happen.
How do you organize your goals? And do you bring them into like physical reality? Do you write them down? Do you have like a thing on the wall with your goals listed out?
I used to when someone told me once when I was a kid, like when I was like an undergrad, that you should write down your goals. And I think I tried it, but now I don't really write down my goals anymore. No. It's like, but I know what my goals are.
Yeah.
It's like we're going to put an album this year. We're going on tour, and it wasn't easy setting up the tour, like going out east. It was a bit easier because that's where I'm from, and I have contacts out east in the Maritimes. But we're going to set up a tour in Southern Ontario later this year, and it's harder because I don't know as many people up here, but we're going to do it. And, yeah.
You got a gig coming up in Peterborough with By Divine Right, I believe. I saw that on your list. That'll be a good one.
And Casper Skulls. Yeah. Yeah,
and we just played with Knitting. I don't know if you know that band, but they're a band from Montreal. Misha is the front person for that band, and they are from Peterborough. And
they're one of our favorite bands, so we're very excited to play with them for our release show. It was really fun.
Yeah, and those as well, like the show with Knitting and with Casper Skulls. There are two bands that we really like and actually referenced a lot during the recording process for this album. And around Christmas or beginning of January, I actually messaged both bands, and I was like, come to Peterborough. We'll set up a show for you. Like, we'll set up a good show for you. And they were busy and whatever, but they got back to me months later and was like, okay, let's set up a show in Peterborough.
Nice.
And then we get to play with two of our favorite bands.
That's fantastic. Yeah, make it happen. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
So the record Average Weekends out on Noise Records. That label's been around, I think, 20 some years at this point.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I think a Truro-based record.
Yeah, originally, so Chad Peck is the owner of Noise Records. I know Chad personally from A History of days. We went on tour with his band, The Medium Mood. And I've kind of kept in touch with Chad over the years. And he was, generous enough to help us put this out on his label.
Fantastic. Maybe we can get in the chat talking about, if you still got a few minutes, we've been talking about for 40 minutes. Yeah, time flies, really. I always like art. Like, I always like to look at the artwork a little closely. And then if it catches my eye, I like to ask about the artwork. And it kind of has like, what's the right word? Like a collage vibe to it. So I imagine there's something going on there because there's like two moons, or there must be a story involved. So I wouldn't mind learning a bit about the artwork. It's an
analog collage.
Which just means cut out collage.
Okay.
And we designed the cover. Jeff went to a bunch of thrift stores and bought a whole bunch of magazines. And then bought some X-Acto knives, and we cut out pictures. And the main picture of the waterfront is from Kenora. Actually, it's like Lake of the Woods. And at the end of the day, we would go swimming every day. So that's me on the floaty and Jeff is the splash in the water.
Okay, cool.
And that's from the year we started the band. So just around the time that we started the band. So when we were living in Kenora. So that's the reference for that. And I love analog collage, and it's kind of like a bit of a throwback to the 90s, like a lot of albums, like Built to Spill albums and
Pavement albums.
Yeah. They're a different type of analog collage, but I like that style, and it's DIY, which fits with us as well. So we made that collage, the main part of that collage at home here. I worked with Glenn Leck. I don't know, is Glenn from St. John? I don't know.
I don't know the name.
So Glenn Leck used to be roommates with Steve from Constant Greetings.
Okay.
In Halifax, which I didn't know, actually. I know Glenn Leck he's the bassist in Washing Machine from Halifax with Noel McDonald, who's one of my best friends and also played in A History of. So anyway, I got a lead on Glenn to do the layout for this, and he took our collage and put everything else together. And he did a great job.
And converted it into a full layout. So the collage is pretty punk rock, like classic punk rock flyer situation. And here at St. John, there's been kind of like a little bit of I don't know if rejuvenate. What's the right word? Revival, not quite, but of zines. Like there's been some
nice
handmade printed zines that are coming out, and so that's cool to see. A wash in all the kind of the digital world we all live in now. So
yeah, it has to be it's put together digitally, but the cutouts were by hand, which is nice.
And maybe just because I've been to Kenora a couple times, and my old band played the Ride Out Community. I think it's called the Ride Out Community Center.
Okay,
is that what that's called? Anyway, small little venue somewhere in Kenora. Did you guys?
Yeah.
What's the scene like? Were you part of the scene in Kenora? Or I guess that was before the band was jamming.
We were just living there, and kind of this was sort of like an Beached Out started as an isolation kind of project, and then we moved to Thunder Bay, and that's where we did play in Thunder Bay. But then actually we ended up moving to Kingston, Ontario, and we played a lot. And that's where we really got going, was in Kingston before we ended up moving here to Peterborough.
Okay. Been all over Ontario. That's
we have lived all over the place.
When we were in Kingston, there was a great music scene. There was an art house called the Artel that doesn't exist anymore. And they hosted a lot of shows with a lot of bands driving through across the 401.
Yeah.
And we got to play with some really fun bands.
Oh, we got to open for Destroyer in Kingston, which is like probably the biggest artist we've ever played with. And we played with Preoccupations back then. They were called Viet Cong, and Heaven for Real and Dog Day. Everyone came through. It was great. And it was just like, it was essentially just a living room that maybe like 25 people could fit in that living room max, but it always felt full and it was great.
Nice. Yeah, that's always a great feeling.
Yeah.
One memory I have of Kingston is my old band played there with, do you remember the band I Hate Sally? Does that ring a bell?
No, it doesn't.
They were on Underground Operations, and they were like a metal band, but anyway, like their guitarist threw a show for us once in Kingston, but it was like a crust punk show, and we were like a tech metal band, so we cleared the room. There was probably like 120 people there, and I don't think we were halfway. I don't even think we were halfway through our first song in the room.
Oh, no.
We were playing to no one but the promoter, and it was like the most embarrassing, vulnerable. Talking about being like hang out to dry, hung out to dry.
That's a good feat to clear 125 people.
Yeah, it was impressive. Yeah. It was a good rehearsal session. It turned into a nice little practice.
Yeah.
So Haven Music Hall on April 22nd. That's a fantastic venue. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited you're playing that venue, and with Constant Greetings. That's gonna be an awesome lineup as well.
And Sunnyside Uppers.
Yeah, Sunnyside Uppers. Ryan. Yeah, great. He's a great songwriter. So that's really fantastic. And then you got a show in Truro as well, correct?
Yeah, we're playing Truro at the Marigold Center. They do the Subvert series in the lobby.
Mm-hmm.
Going to be a highlight.
Yeah.
And then we're playing on the Thursday, Woodside Tavern in Dartmouth. And then on the Saturday, we're playing Zeros in Moncton.
Zeros in Moncton, nice. And a couple of the shows, are they with the Kestrels?
Kestrel's in Dartmouth. We're playing 3 shows with Shoulder Season, which is a band from Halifax, some friends of ours. So we're playing with them in Dartmouth and Truro and Moncton. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's a solid run.
Yeah.
Where's the best place for any listeners to get a hold of you or check you out, or what's the best approach there?
I think our Bandcamp is probably the best place to go.
To our album. Yeah.
You can go to our Instagram as well, and there's sort of a link tree there. But to listen to our album and stream it for free, you can go to beachtedout.bandcamp.com. And we're also on all the streaming services, but you could support Bandcamp or,
We're big proponents of Bandcamp Friday here at the radio station. So whenever they do Bandcamp Friday, we try to blast that out to as many people as we can. So,
yeah. And I hope we get a lot of people out on a Wednesday night in St. John. I'd love to see some people out there.
Yeah, it could go, St. John, and they do early shows at Haven Music Hall. So you never know what to expect because they're not like...
It won't be a late night,
Yeah, I think they're at 7 or something, or 7:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like an 11 p.m. start time.
No
way. Things have changed over the years. I remember in Halifax growing up, like the first band wouldn't go on until midnight sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore. No one wants to stay. No one wants to stay out till 3 a.m. So.
Yeah, I remember loading into like the Seahorse Tavern, and you'd be like waiting till like we'd be going on at like 1:15 or something, and you're just like, this is brutal. Like everyone's tired and usually a little too intoxicated in the audience and stuff. That's fantastic. Well, thanks a lot, Jeff and Anna. I really appreciate you giving me some of your time today.
Thanks for having us.
Fascinating chat, and thanks for letting me pick your brain about a few topics here and there.
Great. Yeah, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having us on the air.